And in business news, in a significant move to drive access to finance for small businesses, particularly those managed and owned by women, the United Bank for Africa, UBA, and the African Guarantee Fund, AGF, have unveiled a $100 million facility to drive SMEs growth across 20 countries in Africa. The Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the United Bank for Africa, Mr. Oliver Alauber, made this known at the signing ceremony between the two organizations in Lagos. Frank Omalape has details in this report.
The signing ceremony marks the formalization of a $100 million loan facility between UBA and the African Guarantee Fund. The facility comes at a critical juncture when SMEs, especially those led or owned by women, are seeking avenues for growth and sustainability. This strategic collaboration is aimed at empowering women entrepreneurs across 20 African countries by providing them with enhanced financial support.
And through this strategic alliance, UBA, with the backing of AGF, is proud to commit $100 million in new loans $100 million in new loans to SMEs operating across the 20 African countries where we operate.
Of the $100 million facility, African Guarantee Fund, known for its expertise in risk-sharing mechanisms, will provide a guarantee coverage of $50 million as a necessary backing to ensure the success of the initiative. The guarantee facility will minimize risk for UBA, allowing the bank to extend credit to a wider range of businesses.
This transaction is to work together with UBA so that they can increase their lending to the SMEs. By providing a guarantee of $50 million to UBA, they will be able to lend up to $100 million to the SMEs. So this is just increasing the type of risk, it's increasing the exposure that they can have today on the SME, because the commercial bank, they also have some constraints, some regulatory constraints, and also some constraint on the type of risk and the volume of risk that they can take. So by providing this guarantee, we increase their capacity to do more.
What this does is that we are able to give you these loans at a discount, about 200 basis point discount to what we give to men. And also the collateral requirements are far much more customer friendly for women, just to be able to bridge that gap in financing between men-owned businesses and women-owned businesses in Africa.
Report shows women have the highest participation in economic activities in Africa, but with the lowest contribution to GDP. By channeling resources towards them, UBA and African Guarantee Fund are paving the way for enhanced productivity, competitiveness, and resilience within the SME ecosystem. Frank Omalape, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, the Lagos State government has restated its readiness to encourage trade and investment to combat poverty and unemployment in the state. Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Madebem, disclosed this during a training put together by the state government in partnership with African Import-Export Solutions Limited and Export and Sell USA with theme Export to Wealth. Participants were trained on warehousing, dispatch export licensing, access profitability, and software windows, finding buyers listing, and management on Amazon and others. The commissioner adds that the state has a mandate to grow local production capacity to meet export needs through AFCFTA and encourage exporters to leverage agreements among other platforms for export.
The governor has demonstrated his commitment, and that's our job to partner with, because as you know, the government cannot do it all. But what we will do is partner with those that we feel can enable us to collectively accelerate and achieve the desired outcome. There's so many opportunities out there, and when we're talking about Lagos, and I repeat, Lagos State is the 5th largest country in Africa. In terms of GDP, 30%. In terms of investment opportunities, in terms of standards and where you can even operate. We have the Lekki Trade Free Zone, which is another opportunity for where you can come and MSMEs can come and set up shop and work.
We're teaching businesses, Nigerian businesses, how to start exporting, how to start earning in dollars. It's time we stop complaining and start acting, and that's the action we're putting in place, telling businesses and lecturing them on how to start exporting and heading foreign exchange.
Have small businesses that are not positioning their products right. The packaging is wrong, the labeling is wrong. We have gone through a practical session that shows them the things to do. And then we also looked at other aspects, how to shape all the licenses they need to get. And we ended the session with the ways for them to find buyers abroad.
The Nigeria trade surplus had declined by a whopping 99.7%, raising serious concerns about the state of the economy. The significant drop comes along a surge in imports to 16 years, placing a significant strain on the country's foreign reserves. Industry sector analyst at Chapel Hill, Denham, Mr. James Oladisa, bears his mind on these figures.
It means we're importing a lot more than we are exporting, and that has caused a shrink in the trade surplus or trade balance. And if you look at the numbers, you would see that imports rose by about 40% in Naira terms, and we saw exports rise by about 34%. So clearly, we saw a faster rise in imports than in exports. I think the true picture of our trade data is clear if we look at these numbers in dollar terms. So if you convert our total trade in dollar terms, you would see that there was a decline indeed for total trade by about 7.5%. And this was primarily driven by a drop in exports by about 9%. Right? And this can simply be explained by the 22% moderation that we saw in crude oil prices globally. And we also saw a decline in imports by about 5%. I know this is also expected, given that in 2023, Nigeria suffered a devaluation. And as such, we would expect that imports will be much more expensive moving forward and exports will be cheaper.
And finally, there has been renewed investors' interest in equities of quoted companies expecting dividends from their 2023 performances. Effiong Cup reports. We will be back with football tonight.
Market investors seem to have spotted huge values in many companies as their annual reports are being awaited. The expectation moves to investors and fund managers who think and calculate dividend payouts coming from different companies. The banks take prime attention from market dealers who have regarded liquidity in trades as key. UBA came strong with maximum 10% as investors ran after the stock. Access Holding, recovering from the shocks of the death of their former CEO, reaped more than 9% on gains table. First Bank Holding, Zenith Bank, and MCN Nigeria all took positions on the gains table. Strong activities on the floor kicked index upward by 1.45%, stressing the pattern of bid on securities. More than 500 million units of shares were crossed in key sectors of the market, with the value hitting 14 billion naira. Companies that led the trading floor with losses included Nascon, Dangote Sugar, Jaiz Bank, Transcorp, and Wema Bank. Effiong Cup TVC News, Lagos.